individual. If you've ever been dissatisfied with your life, where your life is, you don't know it. Maybe you don't know it, but now you know it. It's because the gap isn't filled up. This is what drives people to continue on, to keep going, because they're looking to fulfill this gap. That's what should drive you, okay? Now, I wrote a book in the last, Rick made this comment, okay? In 2008, when the economy collapsed, how many remember when Lehman's collapsed? Or Lehman collapsed, right? Remember? How do you get the images out of your head? Two most significant events in my life were when I was 25 years old, I was selling automobiles because it was the only job I could get. And I hated my job. I hated selling cars. And a guy came to me one day and he said to me, he's like, man, when are you going to commit? I'm like, huh? He's like, you keep talking about the car business and how bad the car business is and you hate the car business and you don't like selling cars and you didn't get a degree to sell cars. He's like, when are you going to commit? And I'm like, what are we talking about? He's like, dude, you don't commit. You're going to hate everything you do. Car business isn't a problem. It's your lack of commitment. That was a turning point for me. I'm like, oh, the guy's right. He told me the truth. My problem was I never committed. How can I be great at anything if you don't commit? Nobody wants to be average. Look, average is an epidemic in this country. You guys noticing that? How many of you notice? Everybody's okay with being average. Average grades, average participation, average involvement, average money, average lifestyles, right? Most people living beyond their average only when it comes to spending, not when it comes to greatness. And Lehman happens. And who gets blamed for Lehman? The banks. Hey man, let me tell you something. What is happening to the middle class right now is not the banks and it's not politics. It's because the middle class, the beliefs of the middle class do no longer work. They're built on average. They're built on just enough. And I realized when Lehman happened, I was watching TV in Los Angeles. My wife's like, what's happening? This looks terrible. I said, baby, this is the opportunity of our lifetime. This is the moment when the whole world goes into monster, massive contraction, because that's what's about to happen. This planet is going to go into a massive contraction. And when they do, everybody around me, everybody I play with, compete with, everybody I do business with, is going to retreat. They're going to go into a retreat. So we're either going to go down swinging in a massive attack, okay, or we're going to go down. Either way, we're going down. But we're going to go down swinging. Okay? I'm going down swinging. So this is what I did. I've been wanting to write books since I was 6 years old. How many of you would like to write a book one day? Everybody should. No more? Okay? So I wrote a book. This book was written on a Sunday afternoon after Lehman collapsed. It took 3 hours to write that book. That book had been pinned up in me waiting to be written. What happened when Lehman collapsed was that everybody that weekend became a salesperson. Whether you owned a bank, George Gonzalez owned City National Bank, okay? That weekend, here in town, George became a salesman, right? You own a real estate company. Half the real estate agents left because they never belonged in real estate. Now the real estate agent that owns the firm is now selling real estate. Everybody agree? You're trying to sell your house. You can't sell your house. Now you definitely got to sell your house. Everybody became a salesperson that weekend, okay? Now, the reason I'm writing books is why? Keep in mind, just do the math here. The average American reads one book a year. The average American reads one book a year. Half the books sold in this country are romance novels. And I'm writing a book when Lehman collapsed. You don't write books for money, right? Okay, first book, Sell or Be Sold. 3 months later, I wrote this book called Closer Survival Guide. Neither one of these books are published. These are self-published books. I paid to have them made. Because I couldn't get a publishing company in 2008 to write a book because they've already done the math. Average American reads one book a year, watches 700 videos on YouTube, meaningless videos. Okay? Watches 700 videos on YouTube. There's no money in books anymore. Why would we write a book by a guy named Grant Cardone? He's no name. You with me? So I self-published the books. It's costing me money to do this. Okay? These 2 books, the first book sells about 40,000 copies in a year. It's never been on a bookshelf. Okay, second book sells about the same number. Never been on a bookshelf. You cannot buy this in a library. What am I doing? Both these books were put together so fast. Brilliant material, misspelled words all over the place. Guy calls me on the phone. Is it true? Guy calls me on the phone. Dude, you use semicolons and exclamation marks, commas, and periods more than any person I've ever seen. He's like, the material's unbelievable, but bro, you got misspelled words on 23, 26, 28, 64. I mean, the guy he sends me an Excel spreadsheet of every misspelled word. I'm like, but what's your point? He's like, what? I said, what's your point, man? They got misspelled words in the book. What's your point? He's like, man, you got to edit that book. We edited it 3 times. It's a bestseller, son. It ain't a best written. Now, the success of these 2 books got a publishing company to pay attention to me, okay? And I wrote this book. If you're not first, you're last. This was not the original title of the book, okay? Later on today, if you follow me on Twitter, at Grant Cardone, you'll see the original title. I'm not going to say it here, okay? It's a little gritty. This is a book about how to fill up your pipeline, okay? See, the success of these 2 books got me this book deal. Why? Because I got attention. You with me? And this book just came out about 9 months ago called The 10X Rule. This book's magic, okay? Now, the reason I'm telling you that is this. There's no money in books, so why am I writing books? To get attention. Who do I want attention from? Readers. Who reads books? People that are going someplace. Okay, you know the name Bill Gross? Anybody in here know that name? Bill Gross owns a company called PIMCO. PIMCO is the largest bond fund in the world. We're talking almost $500 billion. The largest in the world. Nobody's close to what Bill Gross created. Bill Gross is looking at my house. In 2010, Bill Gross can buy. Bill Gross doesn't have bad economy. He's multi-billionaire, okay? He comes into my house. The real estate agent says, don't talk to Mr. Gross. I said, tell Mr. Gross not to talk to me. And I won't talk to him. Oh, yeah, Mr. Gross doesn't like attention. I said, Mr. Gross is on MSNBC and CNBC 3 times a week, dude. What do you mean he doesn't want attention? Are you nuts? Okay? Look, you're a little small real estate agent that's getting smaller and smaller every time you open your mouth. You're contracting. You're actually on a retreat. Do you understand? There's four levels of action, and you're on number 2 right now. You're in retreat telling me what not to do. Because you are getting so small, you're so worried about Mr. Gross and his money because your pipeline's not full enough. You understand what I'm saying? You're so worried about offending one customer because that's the only customer you have. You got to fill your pipeline up. You with me? You don't trust one book. You can't trust one interview. Right? You want to reach up to your friends. I want to grab people that have things. I want to have people that can influence. Bill Gross comes into my house, looks at the house, decides the house is not for him, comes into my office. I happen to be sitting in the office. The 4 books are sitting on my office. I haven't talked to Mr. Gross. What does he notice on the desk? The only question he asked while he was in the house, tell me about the books. Why? Because he's a player. He's a learner. He's a big earner. You know the difference between the people that don't make money in this country and the people that do make? It's not their religion. It's not the color of their skin. It is not even their education. It's their readers. Okay? The CEOs in America in 2008, the top earning CEOs averaged 5 books a month, and they're not in college anymore. They're readers after college, not just during college. So folks, you got to learn, all right? You have to learn things like this. There's 4 levels of action. You do these every day, okay? There's 4 levels of action. You know what no action is, right? That's that empty chair next to you. That's somebody not taking action. They didn't fill the chair up. They're not here. Okay, everybody in the room has done this before. You didn't take an action. You had an idea. I'm going to go do this interview, and then you didn't show up for it. Okay? Number 2 is retreat. You actually back up from something. You had a bad experience. You asked a girl out. She said no, so you're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm staying home. I'm going to be by myself. I love football. I love football, and I'm going to watch it with me and the boys. That's a retreat. You have retreated. Maybe you made an investment. It didn't work out. I'll never do that again. Maybe you saw your mom get foreclosed on. You saw her get foreclosed, and you've decided, by the way, a lot of millennials have decided never to buy a home. Why? They saw their parents buy homes, get foreclosed on, and they think, I'm going to retreat from that activity. You have people leaving college today, not even trying to go get a job because their buddies told them, nobody's hiring, bro. Nobody's hiring. Oh, there is a new guy that flew in from Los Angeles, him and his family. He just set up shop 4 or 5 months ago. He's hiring. Every week he's hiring somebody. I'm not even in this town. Me and Rick are trying to turn around the job problem in Florida by ourselves. But we can't because we have average people showing up that are in retreat or won't take any action at all. The third, which is the most dangerous, by the way, if you're taking notes, number 3 is the most dangerous of all 4, is normal levels of activity. Because normal levels of activity are tricky. See, number 1 and number 2 aren't tricky. Would you agree? Guy's not doing anything. He's loafing. He's at home smoking weed, doing nothing. Whatever, right? It happens. Is that a real world example? Okay? Colorado's legalized it. Okay? Do you know before they legalized it, Colorado had more marijuana dispensaries than McDonald's and Starbucks combined in Denver? And then we wonder why people aren't doing anything. Dude, you can't do anything. How can you do anything? You got no energy for anything. Okay? So the guy's doing nothing, or he's in retreat. Those are obvious. You can see somebody when they're retreating. But the third one's tricky, right? Because he actually looks like he's doing something. He's the most dangerous employee you can have. He's the most dangerous friend you can have. Because he tells you, dude, hey, we studied. We studied, man. Come on, let's go play now. We did our part. It's normal, okay? It's nothing exceptional or extraordinary about this level of action. It is what everybody does. And the problem with that is you get lost with everybody. Number 4, which I believe is the only level of activity that you'd want to operate at, is massive amounts of activity. Now, massive, for you to be at massive levels of activity, this is what you would have to do. You'd have to have new problems, okay? I'm going to go take enough action like this morning. Okay, I know that I'm in massive when I wake up in the morning and I have 4 things to do that I've committed to that I can't get out of, and I have to get here by 10:15, which y'all said 10 o'clock. And I'm like, that's impossible. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? Do I erase this? Do I take this off? Do I call Catherine up and say I can't do this? No. Commit to everything and have a new problem. Massive action, massive activity levels will create new problems. If you don't have new problems, everybody's got problems. Raise your hand if you got a problem in your life. Everybody's got them, right? You're always going to have them. There's no way to get rid of them. Okay? I wake up with laryngitis this morning. It's a problem. Okay? I could retreat. I could be normal. I could be average. I could say, I can't do it. But I'm like, no, just talk over the laryngitis. Just roll through it. Beat it to death. It's just a body. Use it. Right? If it's going to break on my terms. If I'm going to get rejected, reject on my terms. If I'm going to blow a sale or an interview, it's going to be on my terms. When you leave here, that's how you need to operate. Because otherwise, nobody will know you exist. Because the first 3 don't exist. In the real world, nobody pays them. Nobody pays attention to them. Nobody will know you even walked in a room. Would you agree? The 4th one is exceptional. Oh my God, who is this person? And I'm going to give you some examples of that today. Here's your biggest challenges. You only have 3 challenges. It's not the economy. It's not politics. It's not money. The first biggest challenge you have is obscurity. I don't know you. If I don't know you, I cannot hire you. If I don't know you, I cannot buy your services. If I don't know you, I cannot fund your activities or your brainchild next business. You're going to be the next $1 billion guy. Dude, if I don't know you, I can't help you. You got a charity or something you want to help. If I don't know you, it don't matter. Everybody agree with that? The word obscurity means I don't know you. Or it means I know you, but I'm not thinking about you. Which is the case for, oh, yeah, you know what? Gosh, man, yeah. Oh, we already filled the position, though. Dang, yeah, you'd have been perfect.